Ms. Bree, I need a roll call to start the levy tax meeting.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Weiss? Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Fowl?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Yes.
We have a quorum.
Ms. Banks?
Well, good evening, everyone. We are here to present the 2024 proposed tax levy. So the Board of Education approves the tax levy each year to generate the local tax revenue for the district, and this must be certified by October 1st. If the Board of Education fails to set a tax rate by October 1st, only a debt rate required to pay the outstanding principal and interest in our debt service levy will be allowed. The locally assessed valuations are in three major categories: real estate, personal property, and machinery and tools, which is our commercial personal property. Real estate is the largest category and includes both residential and commercial property. The 2024 assessed valuations decreased by about $32 million, or 0.6%, as compared to 2023. The operating tax rate is calculated on the adjusted locally assessed evaluations, which excludes the new construction and improvements in the current year, as highlighted on the screen. There is a limit on how much our operating property tax revenues can increase each year based on the lesser of the adjusted assessed valuation change, the consumer price index, or 5%. The adjusted assessed valuations decreased, and overall, the property taxes were down $113 million, or 2.2%. The consumer price index is 3.4%. For 2024, we are proposing an increase in the operating rate and no change in the debt rate. The proposed rates both represent voluntary reductions to what is allowed by statute. The total proposed 2024 tax rate is just under $5, $4.99.61 per $100 of assessed valuation. You can see that this is an increase of about 32.5 cents as compared to the prior year, 32.44 cents. Here's a 5-year view of our operating and debt tax rates. The board has approved voluntary reductions in the operating levy since 2021, saving taxpayer money. You can see how the total rates declined from 2020 through 2023 on the chart. This coincides with much of the COVID relief or ESSER funding. Since ESSER funding has now concluded, we are proposing we recover some of those funds via the resolution that the board approved last month. The debt levy is used to pay the principal and interest on our outstanding bonds, whereas the operating levy provides the majority of the general operating budget revenue. The proposed rates will produce a maximum of $259.5 million of locally assessed property tax revenue for the current year, fiscal year 2025. About $227.2 million for the operating levy and $32.2 million for the debt levy. This represents about a $15.3 million increase year over year. So here are a few examples of the proposed rate impact to a homeowner depending on the value of their home. These rates only apply to the St. Louis Public Schools impact, as there are other taxing authorities within the city of St. Louis. And St. Louis Public Schools makes up about 60% of the city's rate. So you'll note the different property assessment rates for personal property, commercial property, and residential property on the far right column. So if I am a homeowner, a residential homeowner, with a home valued at $100,000, assessed at 19%, I'll pay approximately $950 with the proposed rates. Well, that's pretty short and simple. It really concludes my presentation. If there are any viewers in the audience that have any comments on the proposed rates, I'm sure the board would welcome any comments if anyone would like to come to the podium. We also have a QR code for those that might be watching online. You can scan the QR code. I know we have some on back here, but I thought there was one on the screen. I think we might have something posted online. It will be available, I think, through October 4th, where you can have comments or questions regarding the proposed rates. And me and my team, we will be responding to those personally. So please provide any comments or questions that you might have. And if there are no questions here, I would request that the board approve the rates as proposed. $4.37.5 for the operating rate, 62.11 cents for the debt service rate, for a total rate of $4.99.61 per $100 of assessed valuation. Again, this does have to be approved before October 1st. We must submit this to our city assessor and then on to the state auditor. And I have some forms for your approval and signature.
Thank you, Chief Banks. Once again, is there any public comments at this time? Any board members that have comments that they would like to add? Seeing none, I need a motion.
I move to approve the proposed rates. Second.
Any discussions? Ms. Bree?
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Fowl?
Abstain.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you once again, Chief Banks.
I move to adjourn the tax levy hearing.
Second.
Ms. Bree?
Mr. Hikes? Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Fowl?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
I need a motion to go into open session.
I'll make a motion that we go into open session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Bree?
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Here.
Ms. Fowl?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're gonna go into approval of the minutes. I need a motion to approve August 22nd, 2023.
I'll move to approve the minutes for August 22nd, 2023.
Second.
Any discussions? Ms. Bree?
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard? Ms. Fowl?
No.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Motion for September 26th, 2023.
I'll move to approve the minutes for the tax hearing session for September 26th, 2023.
Second.
Any discussions? Ms. Bree?
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Fowl?
No.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'll move to approve the work session minutes for September 26th, 2023.
Second.
Ms. Bree, I'm sorry.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Fowl?
No.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Keep going.
I'll move to approve the work session minutes for October 24th, 2023.
Second.
Ms. Bree?
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Fowl?
No.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'll move to approve the minutes for January 23rd, 2024. January 23rd, 2024, work session minutes.
Second.
Ms. Bree?
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Fowl?
No.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'll move to approve the minutes for Tuesday, February 27th, 2024, work session.
Second.
I would like to offer an amendment. There is a, under reports of the board, Emily Kelso is spelled wrong. It should be
K-E-L-T-Z-O-W, maybe?
It's spelled wrong. If we could make that change. Okay.
K-O-E-L-T-Z-O-W.
I'll make that amendment.
Second it.
Ms. Bree?
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Weiss? Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Fowl?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'll move to adopt and approve the work session minutes from Tuesday, February 27th, 2024 as amended.
Second.
Ms. Bree?
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Fowl?
No.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'll move to approve the work session minutes from March 26th, 2024.
Second.
Ms. Bree?
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Fowl?
No.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'll move to approve the work session minutes from April 23rd, 2024.
Second.
Ms. Bree?
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Fowl?
No.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'll move to approve the work session minutes from May 28th, 2024.
Second.
Bree?
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard? Ms. Val,
No.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Ms. Cousins.
Yes.
Motion passed.
That's it? I don't know. I got it.
I would make a motion to move the minutes that are on the agenda currently, June 11th, July 2nd, and August 13th as listed, to the next board meeting, since they are
Second.
not in front of us.
Second. Regular board meeting? Second.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Ms. Val,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Ms. Cousins.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Good evening once again. On July 25th, 2024, the Board of Education voted to hire an outside firm to conduct an investigation to review the district operations over the last year. Monday, September 23rd, 2024, during a special closed session, the board met with its external investigation and discussed the investigation. At Monday's special closed session, the board also voted 6-0 to notify Dr. Keisha Scarlett of its intent to terminate her contract for cause. Pursuant to her employment contract, Dr. Scarlett has the right to request a hearing before the Board of Education to contest the decision. If Dr. Scarlett elects to contest, she will remain on administrative leave until her hearing before the Board of Education. If requested, the hearing is expected to take place before the end of October. Dr. Millicent Borshade has been serving as acting superintendent since July 25th, 2024. Dr. Borshade holds superintendent certification in Illinois and Washington and has submitted the required documents to the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, DESE, to obtain her Missouri superintendent's certification. Today, the board voted to appoint Dr. Borshade as interim superintendent for the remainder of the 2024-2025 school year, pending DESE approval of her certification. Thank you. Dr. Borshade.
Good evening, Board President, members of the board, and the listening audience. I'm going to begin with an update of back-to-school update, and then I'm going to be inviting our partners, First Student and FirstView, to do a presentation on our FirstView app, and then we will conclude that with more information as it relates to transportation. And then following that, we will have an audit response update. And so before you have SLPS today and tomorrow. And again, I'm going to give you a high-level overview on our back to school by the numbers. To date, we have distributed 19,388 backpacks, which were fully stuffed with supplies for our first day of school distribution. And then to date, we have 18,500 students. When we look at that, the breakdown is for pre-K, we have 1,693 students, and then we have K-12, 16,333 students. To date, we have hired 362 new hires, and then we have 69 secretaries attending online registration and enrollment training that have happened in the past. On the first day of school, we had 410 before and 901 aftercare students attending on the first day of school for the first time ever. And we have 21 teachers from overseas from our cultural exchange program. We have 12,527 iPads that we have distributed and 4,217 laptops that were provided to schools for student distribution. We have 24 cohorts and 2,093 staff attended professional development. Professional development, I just want to say, is ongoing. We have 103 English language learners new to St. Louis Public Schools who have started with us. And then we have 30 schools named America's Healthiest Schools.
Dr. Borgia, could you move the mic closer to you?
Thank you for that reminder. In terms of our audit, I will share a high-level overview. I'm going to distribute, if you can take one and pass it down. And so on August 13th, we received a letter from the state audit notifying us that there will be an audit of our district. There were 12 items that were asked for, and to date, we have submitted 12 of the 13 items, of which the 13th item will be submitted on Friday, September 27th. The request was for major contracts, which included food service, bonds, construction, major software, and curriculum. Again, that was submitted to the state. There was a request for a list of credit cards along with who were authorized and the limits. That was uploaded to the state web portal, the state audit portal, and submitted. There was a request for superintendent employment contracts for the acting and prior superintendents along with any statements of benefits. Those documents were submitted, noting that there was not a contract for the acting superintendent. The acting superintendent did not have a contract. There was a request for employment contracts for any other administrative personnel, including assistant and deputy superintendents, chief operation officers, and CFOs. There were no contracts, or there are no contracts for COOs and CFOs, and the state auditor was notified. Both of those positions were offered offer letters, and both offer letters have been emailed to the state auditor. There was a request for scheduled and revised school calendars for the years 2022, 2023, and 2023-2024. Those items have been uploaded to the state auditor's web portal. There was a request for related parties listing, which includes related party transactions with related businesses and listed of related employees. This item was also uploaded. There was a request for bank statements and reconciliations for the years of 2022 to 2023 and 2023-2024. Those items have been uploaded to the state audit web portal. There was a request for salary schedules for employees. Those items have been uploaded to the state portal. There was a request for closed minutes from board meetings from 2022, 2023, and 2023 to 2024, and meetings from July 2024 through current. Things that were present were uploaded, and there will be an upload of any additional requests as it relates to minutes. There was a request for minutes or access to recordings of open minutes to school years 2022, 2023, and 2023-2024 meetings from July 2024 through current. Again, all the things that were available were uploaded. There was a request for a report showing all building and central office receipts and all central office district accounting from July 21, 2022 through July 31, 2024. There were several files that were uploaded, and as I stated before, the remaining files will be uploaded by September 27, 2024. There was a request for a report showing all district expenditures from July 21, 2022 through July 31st, 2024, and all of those documents have been uploaded.
Dr. Borshay, so is it safe to say, and I guess this is a question for you as well as Chief Banks, so in regards to what's been asked for the state audit, so those documents have all been submitted to the state auditor that they've asked for to do the state audit, correct?
All documents have been uploaded with the exception of the request for showing of all building and central office receipts and all central office district accounting from July 1st, 2022 through July 31st, 2024.
And where does the district stand in regards to the audit that we're needing to do per DESI requirement? Has that begun?
For our regular external audit,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, we have begun, certainly meeting with the auditor. They have already submitted their requests. We've already been uploading documents to the portal there, so we are underway.
Are you finding that the information that is being asked of them is similar to the acts of state? Are you having to duplicate, or is it more work that's been put on the finance department?
Well, it is a different audit. There's really not a lot of overlap in the two separate audits. Certainly a lot of the requests that we're trying to meet for the state auditor, it is a lot of information, particularly as Dr. Borsheit has mentioned, items that are to be uploaded on Friday. Certainly we have sought some clarification for some documentation because it is so voluminous that oftentimes as we are running this data, the system just times out. And when we're talking about actual receipts going back 2 years, you know, receipts are scanned, and it is just a lot of data, and it's just a lot of work on people trying to gather all this information. So,
And the state did say that if needed, they will come to us for those documents and sit here, or if we give them a read-only access, they will look at the items that way. So they are willing to work with us however we see the need.
I ask that because I know trying to gather data in regards to audit information is extremely time consuming, on top of trying to navigate the transportation challenges and everything else is along with the day-to-day operations of what you all are trying to do. I know it can be time consuming, so I was just trying to kind of get a better understanding of where we stood in regards to that, and at the same time commend you all on, you know, getting that information uploaded, because I know there was some deadlines that everyone was trying to meet. So thank you.
Thank you. And then in terms of transportation and our STAR data, we are doing our very best to maximize our transportation. In terms of our STAR, our students have completed the STAR assessment, and we will come back to you and share what our mentoring program is going to look like for students who have taken the STAR in the 3rd grade. Just want to give you a high-level overview in terms of our enrollment over the years. Back in 2022, when we look at our total enrollment on September 22nd, we were at 18,222. September 22nd in 2023, we were at 18,150. And then what will be reported to DESI on the last Wednesday of the month, which is going to be on tomorrow. We have yet to hit those numbers, but right now we are at 18,025 in terms of our enrollment. In terms of our new programs and high-level...
I'm sorry, Dr. Borshay. Does this include our students in transition as well? Do we know?
Yes, this includes our students in transition.
Thank you.
A high-level overview on our programs, our Z-Space. Our students are absolutely loving Z-Space and their connection to this new experience. Before and after school programs, parents are excited about the fact that we had before and after school program on the first day of school. Our PropS projects, we had our last meeting, board meeting at AESM, and the students were excited about the new bathrooms, the new water fountains. They, joked that they were drinking tea from the water fountains, and now they can actually drink ice cold water, which was good. And our network superintendents are going to be attending training and professional development outside of the district, as we mentioned before. And then a focus on literacy and STEM. We have the literacy project that is going to be taking place in terms of readying our students for kindergarten. We have the STEM fair that's going to be taking place in December. We have our reading and writing initiative that started up again. We are going to have a spelling bee this year. And then we have National Blue Ribbon Schools. Betty Wheeler and Malincrot were named last year, and then as of yesterday, officially, Metro High School was named a Blue Ribbon School, and they will be receiving that recognition in November 7th and 8th. We also have international teachers in healthy schools. We have 21 international teachers working with us. We have 30 healthy schools. We have our Let's Talk platform, and I am looking forward to sharing with you more about the capacity of Let's Talk. And then we will have Saturday School. Saturday School is going to be a space where our students who are at the high school level need resources to make sure that they are going to pass their classes. And then we also have our volunteer program that we are excited about, and excited about our staff and community volunteers who adopted a stop this year. And that is it for a high-level overview.
Could you tell us how many stops we have volunteers at, and how many are still unmanned or designated as dangerous or identified as safety concerns with transportation and parents?
So our Adopt a Stop was for the first 2 weeks of school. And so at this point, we don't have anyone there unless there is unless we've been notified that there is a high risk or something going on in the community or neighborhood. And then we will make sure that someone is there.
So by what mechanism can somebody report a high-risk stop or something that they feel like is not safe for their students, and how would they ask for a volunteer to be placed there, and how would we find that volunteer to put them there?
So if someone calls into safety and security, or if safety and security is noticed that something is happening, safety and security will respond. But typically, if there's something that is going on in the community, and let me rephrase what I was thinking. If there is something in the community and they want to report it to us, they can definitely report it to us. I would say the first line of business, though, is for them to call 911 if there is a real, true emergency, or if there's a need or an ask of us to just come and be at the stop because someone wants us to have eyes on that stop for children, then they can call us and we will make sure to go and send someone there. But if it is a 911 emergency, then we are asking them to notify police.
Dr. Bourget, I would like to say I really appreciate, we put a lot of work on our teachers and all that, but I appreciate that they are willing to work on a Saturday because we know sometimes Monday through Friday is just not enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I do really appreciate y'all taking the initiative to start a Saturday program for those students that might need it. And I really appreciate, and I want the teachers to know that we appreciate them taking the extra time out of their life, because we know they have families also.
Absolutely.
But I want them to know we do appreciate them taking that initiative, that extra time to work with our students on Saturday.
Thank you.
Can you talk more about what those Saturday programs look like?
Sure. Students who are in need of extra support, who have received a D or an F on a subject or in a subject, more specifically math, reading, or science, then are asking that they attend the Saturday program so that they can remain on course to graduate. This is something that was started at Metro. Then last year, other schools asked to be a part of that so that we could help students remain on track to graduate.
How gentle is that ask?
The ask is almost like being voluntold. As a student, you should go to this program. Yes.
Okay. And can you say whatever you said about star data again? That
Okay.
part felt like it went really fast.
So our students have completed the STAR assessment, and one of the things that has been determined is that our students need additional support, our third grade students especially, who have taken this STAR assessment. And so what we're going to be doing is adopting or mentoring third grade students and helping to make sure that they receive the additional support that they need.
And are we, sure you have a plan, but are we like working backwards so that this year's second graders aren't getting the same results as this year's third graders?
That is the plan. Yeah.
Thanks.
Hi, Dr. Bourget. Thank you for all your hard work. And my question is along Z-Space. You know, I was real excited when they brought the demonstration models here.
Yes.
And so at some point in time, can someone kind of record or have some students really talk about their experience with Z-Space?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We will do that. Yes. Okay. That concludes my report.
Transportation update?
Okay, can we zoom in Miss Tiffany Ingram from FirstView? And she's going to need to share her screen.
Hello, thank you.
Hello there. So we have had an opportunity to download the FirstView app and take a look at all of the things that it is capable of doing. And so Ms. Ingram is going to walk us through getting onto the app. So I'm going to ask that everyone pulls out their phone so that we can get to the app. I'm going to ask that we do that. And if we need some help, please raise your hand and we will help you. Okay, Ms. Ingram, can you share
Thank you.
with
Just
us what the
before we
app is?
begin, were you able to get the test student IDs that we provided over to everyone?
There's an
Or would
echo.
you like me to provide them on the call today?
Yes, you're going to need to provide them with all things, but there's an echo.
There is an echo. Okay, I'm not sure why. One moment. Okay, is there still an echo on your end? I only have one
Yes, there's
monitor
still
up
an
on my
echo.
end.
It's in your folder. Have we downloaded the app?
Okay, do we still have an echo?
No, we're fine now. Thank you. We're
Okay,
getting to the app
perfect.
though.
So sorry, I have a little bit of a cough, so I do apologize. I may need to pause on occasion. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen here. Oh, it says sharing is not turned on.
Okay, we're gonna get that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So first, let's make this a little bit bigger for you. Are you all able to see the screen okay?
Yes,
Great.
I'm gonna ask that you not go fast.
No problem. So what I'm going to be showing you today is the FirstView Parent View app. First, let's talk about some of the features that are available for the app, and then we'll talk about what's required for parents or for you to test the app today. So when we're talking about FirstView and we're talking about the Parent View app, this is a bus tracking application. It's going to allow parents to get information about the status of the bus. They can set up notifications, and they can also set up profiles for their students in the app. There are ways in the app to get instant notifications directly in the app via a push notification, so a similar item that you may have for a weather app or a social media app, so it's right there on your phone, or also email alerts. The email alerts are notifications that can be sent and set up for more than just the app user. They can be set up for other caregivers. They can be set up for neighbors, daycares, maybe grandma or grandpa who don't really need access to the app, but maybe just want to get the information for when the student is on the way. The app also allows for GPS tracking, or the tracking status of the bus. There is an icon that shows the bus on the map with an arrow that shows the direction the bus is moving. There are updates in the app every 10 to 20 seconds of the location of the vehicle, in addition to the notifications that are being sent. And parents can set up profiles for multiple students at a time. So they can set up a profile for their elementary student, their middle school student, or even their high school student. There's also a way to get custom notifications in the app. So parents, in addition to getting a service alert from the First Student Depot with maybe, hey, the bus is late, or there's a different driver on the bus today, they can set up alerts to be notified when the vehicle or the bus is close. So an example that we'll be going through today on the call is setting up a notification when the bus is 0.5 miles from a pinpoint within a certain time range. So let's just say you want to know when the bus is getting close. It's supposed to arrive at 7. We'll walk through how you can set up that notification. Parents are also able to give access to the student. If a student would like to create an account and track their bus, especially the older students, they also have the ability to set up their own unique profile in the app with a username and password, or email and password that they create. And we do have dedicated support for FirstView. So what that means is we will support on the FirstView side any parents that have questions, basic technology questions, questions on how to get signed up or set up, or if they have any issues with tracking or not quite sure what they're looking at in the app, we want to make sure that we're supporting that and giving them the help that they need. So the app is free to download. It's available on the App Store. It's also, of course, available on Google Play. It is optimized for mobile phones, but it does work in some tablets, so that's just a note we like to make. The app is also available, or the tracking experience for parents and caregivers is also available on the web. So if you have a parent that maybe doesn't want to download another app, they want to just pull up their web browser on their phone and access it on occasion, they can just pop into the web version and they get the same experience, except for the push notifications, which are tied to the app. For parents to get access to FirstView, or for users to get access to FirstView in the app, we turned on the registration for the district. So we went through an implementation process to make sure that we had everything set up for them. The district was provided with information as far as steps for parents to get signed up, picture guides, and information about what's required to get set up. And then there were updates made, I believe, to the transportation portion of the website. So parents have information right at their fingertips and help as they're getting signed up in the app. What parents need to know to access the app is a student ID. So that's a unique ID for each student in the district that will connect them to their student in the app. And then they'll also need to know their student's route name or bus number. Once they enter in both pieces of information, they are set up and ready to go in the app. And then they have options to set up those extra features, like the notifications and like service alerts or email alerts for other users or other family members or caregivers. So what we're going to do today is we've created a couple of test students for you. If you are in the app or you've downloaded the app, you may notice if you're searching for FirstView, you might see two apps in the App Store. So what you're looking for is the app called FirstView Classic. It has a blue icon, very similar to the First Student logo here. And you'll be able to create an account using your email, phone number, and then you'll select a district to get connected to St. Louis Public Schools. Alrighty, any questions, or do we need to pause for just a moment to let everyone get registered and get signed up for the app?
Let's pause for a moment.
Okay, perfect. If anyone does have any questions, or if you're accessing it on the web, please let me know. The link for the web is web.firstviewApp.com. It's a very similar experience to the app, it's just web-based.
Give us a moment.
No problem.
This is what our parents have to go through. So, yes, let's make this happen. Okay. Oh, you did that. You did. Okay. Did you all get in? One more minute.
No problem.
Okay, we are at the point where our accounts are confirmed. Next steps.
Great. So is everyone logged back into the app with their email and password?
Yes. Most of
Perfect.
us.
Okay. So now we are going to, give me just one moment here. I'm actually going to take you through the experience in the web app. I think it works a little better doing it that way. Okay, I've just reshared my screen.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so what you'll have is a very similar view to this. You'll see a map view when you're logged in that says tap here to add a new student. So as a parent or as a user, the next logical step would be to click the big button. So we're going to click the big button here. And then you're going to want to make sure that you're drilled down to the same state and school district that you selected when you signed up. If not, you can go ahead and do that now. And then it's going to ask for a student ID. So the student ID is the access code that parents need. It's a unique ID that the district provides to get access to the app. I've actually created a couple of test IDs here for everyone. So you can use test, so capital test, and then you can use 1 through 7. So when each parent connects to a student or each user connects to a student, you only see the information in your account. So even if several people were to use test 1, you wouldn't see each other's information in the app. It would be your own unique experience and your own unique profile here in the app. So I'm just going to use test 1 as my example. And again, you can use test 1 through test 7. From there, you just want to select add student. You'll see that it now pops up with the profile for that particular student where we're going to finish completing the process to set up tracking. So the name of the student is test 1, all spelled out. So that's what you're seeing here at the top. And then this is presenting us with an option to select our assign routes or select the routes that we need to set up for tracking. So this isn't like selecting a route that you want to take that day or picking the routes that the district has assigned to you. This is just selecting your assigned routes and adding them to your app. So there are 3 options. There's AM, which are the morning routes. Middays are for like the half-day routes. And then PM would be for the afternoon routes. I'm going to start here in the AM. And that's going to present us with a search box. So there are a couple of ways, of course, to use this. You can scroll, or you can also just type in a number. So this is going to pop up with whatever number, whatever information that you need to access tracking. If you click on that particular route that you need to set up for your student, you'll also be presented with options for schools. So when you see the school, this is essentially saying, hey, this is the school that I would like to get an arrival or departure confirmation for. So in this example, I'm just going to select the first one on the list here, New American Academy in Roosevelt. And then there's really 2 different paths you can go at this point. I can hit skip and complete the process, and I'm set up for tracking the bus. I can get notifications for when the bus arrives to or departs from that school, depending on the dispatch. But if you notice here at this step, there's a button that's highlighted in blue. It's configure notification. So what the app is asking you to do is to customize your experience, to really set up and complete the process.
Can we
What was
ask you
that?
to
I'm
make
sorry.
your screen bigger?
Oh yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Of course. There we go. Yeah, this is much better.
A little bit bigger if
a
you
little
can
small.
to fill the screen. A little bit bigger, just a little bit
A little
bigger.
bit bigger?
Bigger.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that better for you?
Yes, much better.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So in this process or this step, because I'm a parent and I want to get custom notifications, I want to know when the bus is close, and I want to make sure that I'm using kind of all the features that are available in the app. I'm going to select configure notification. And from here, what the parent can do is they can type in their stop address. So I'm just going to type in St. Louis, but of course they need to type in their stop address. And now it's saying, hey, choose a size for this little pinpoint you set up, and then also do a time range. And when you do that, you're going to get a notification when the bus is close. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I believe because I'm zoomed in quite a bit, it may be not showing the map, but that's okay. You all should see the map, of course, on your phone. So it has a preset geofence, which is the circle around that pinpoint at 0.5 miles, and I can use that slider to make that smaller or larger. I can also kind of drag that around the map. Of course, it should be different on your app. And then I can make sure that I've got that fine tune as to where I want my notification to be triggered. And then I'm going to set up a time range. The importance of the time range is to make sure that I'm getting the notification at or around the time the bus should be servicing my stop. So I never want to do it more than 10 minutes or even 20 minutes before the scheduled time. And I never really want to do it more than like an hour after the scheduled time. So if my bus typically gets there or is scheduled to get there, let's say at 6:30, I may set up the notification for 6:10 a.m. and then I'll have it fall off around 7:30 just to make sure that if the bus is running late, I can account for that. I'm going to pick this notification, and then I'm all set up for tracking in the AM. You can edit that notification if you're like, maybe the time frame was not quite great, or maybe I got the notification too early. I want to change the size or change the time for the next day. If parents have multiple routes that their student takes throughout the week, or they need to set up like an alternate route or tracking for that particular week or day, they can do that. They also then can set up the same notifications for the midday and the PM. I'm going to set up a route for the PM. That way we can see it. And I'm just going to go through this process here. I'm going to do configure notification. There we go. I am going to make this one a little bit smaller. And then this is for the PM. So I'm just going to pick a time here. I'm doing this hopefully so I can show you what it looks like on the map portion. Dispatch has ended, so it may not pop up for us, but we will check, or we will look at the screenshots that I've prepared. So from here, I'm all done. And so I just want to select done. So back on the map portion of your app, once you've completed adding a route or setting up a notification, you'll see here that you have essentially what is considered live tracking. I'm going to zoom out just once so you can see more of a picture of it. It presents a map view. It's got the pinpoint that you've set up. So this is essentially your stop or your notification pinpoint. When the bus is running, you'll be able to see that icon on the map and you'll see it moving, and you'll see updates coming here below in the list view that indicate if the school was departed or arrived from, and then you'll see the notifications here in the notifications portion of the app. So that's really all it takes for parents to get signed up. The customized features for the notifications and also the email alerts are very, very useful and probably the most used feature.
Ms. Ingram,
Yes.
I'm hearing you say that's really all it takes. That's a lot. Cause
Oh.
I think I got lost several ways into this, and I'm curious. I'm so confused. I'm curious. How are we getting this to our parents, and what is the utilization for our parents? Because to be honest, I was lost until Vice President Davis had to lean in and say, okay, well, you got to put your address in here. You have to do this. You have to do that. And then the other challenges that I would think, what about the parents that don't have this access, to the phones or to iPads or to tablets? Like, how are we able to assist them, or is this just one of many tools to be able to support the parents?
So this is the tool that that our parents have access to locate the bus. And what we're finding is that we're going to need to provide some more professional development because it's not a single sign-on. There are several steps that you have to but FirstView has been kind enough to share with us. This is not the first time that they've done this presentation with us. And whenever we ask them for additional support, they are more than willing. We're going to also have this discussed or shared with our parents during one of our parent universities, so that all of our parents are able to walk through this at a rate that they will be able to understand it. But what I want Ms. Ingram to do is, we've been talking a lot about our buses, and we want to see what one of our bus routes did today and or even yesterday. So are you willing to take us to bus route 6002? We should have a lot of practice with that bus route.
And why
You want to
have
see that in the dashboard, or you want to
Yes.
see that in the app? I'm not able to show that in the app.
Wherever you can show it to us.
Okay.
And while she's doing that, I have another question. We often look at this in English. Is this able to be translated in other languages? I think that's
So the app itself is available in English, Spanish, and French,
okay.
and it is based on the user's phone settings.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we were able to assist the families in that way as well.
Okay, so we're going to need you to make sure that we can see it, because the screen is really small again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also want to add that we also have Spanish support. So we have a person on our support team that is able to assist parents in that way as well.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to make this a bit smaller on that side, and then we're going to zoom in here. Oops, don't want to zoom in too far. Okay, so you said the route was 6002, is that correct?
That is correct.
And are you looking for the AM or the PM?
Let's go with the AM.
Okay. So this is the district dashboard, just for those of you that are like, what the heck? What
And
the
let's
heck?
go with tier
So this
1.
is the tool that the districts and schools have access. That way you can view the full fleet. It's complementary to the app, so it just gives you a bit more of an extra view there. So I'm searching for this run. And then are we looking for the first run or the second run, or would you like to
Tier
see
1.
both?
Tier 1, the first run.
Okay. So first we'll pivot to live tracking. So this is the run for 6002. Of course, on here you get a bit more information because it is the district view or the school view. And so you're seeing the bus stops, you're seeing the depot markers and the school markers. And if I just kind of scroll down here, I'm getting the information that was available when this route was tracking.
Can you give us St.
So
Louis?
you could, oh, go ahead.
Can you give us St. Louis School District?
Oh, are we not under St. Louis?
Public
Oh, you know, we're not.
Schools.
Oh, we're under Seattle. Well, that was fun. They had a route with a similar number. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay, so this is the PM. Let's go to the AM. Alrighty, so here is this run. I'm gonna go over to live tracking because this best kind of mimics the parent experience. So here is this route here. So depot, school, and then all of the stops that are available. And then if I scroll down, you can see that I have the route here. So this is showcasing when you're looking at a district level or at a school level, you're seeing the scheduled, so the route schedule. You're seeing the estimated times for the stops that was provided during tracking, as well as the actual arrival times that were captured. Keeping in mind that this is just a tracking tool. This isn't a reporting tool. This isn't a route performance analysis tool. This is really just designed to provide an estimate or what we've captured with the GPS data kind of laid on top of the route schedule. You may notice here on occasion, there'll be
Miss
some
Ingram?
instances where there's blank or missing information.
Miss Ingram,
Yes.
I'm gonna ask that you slow down. I'm gonna walk us through what we're looking at. Okay, so stop 1. Can you go back up to the top? Stop 1. It says Chippewa and Illinois. It's scheduled to arrive there at 6:13. And what time did it actually arrive?
621.
Okay. It's the next stop is Broadway. It's supposed to get there at 6 what time?
6:15.
And what time did it actually arrive?
It says 6:24.
Okay. And then the stops that are blank, what does that mean?
It can mean several things. It could mean that the stop wasn't serviced. It could also mean that we just didn't capture the information due to a GPS delay, due to a stop being serviced out of order, due to an incorrect stop pinpoint, incorrect stop time, bad route data. There are many reasons why it could be blank.
Okay. And then we go down to stop 11. So it picks back up at stop 11, right? It's supposed to be
Correct.
there at 6:37, right?
Yes.
And then it got there at 6:43.
Yep.
And then what time does it get to Compton Drew? What time is it scheduled to arrive at Compton Drew?
It's scheduled at 6:55 and it shows arrived at 7:01.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
So, just to clarify, is this only tracking the students who are riding first student buses?
Yes.
So, how
Correct.
many parents and students is that out of the number of students that we have with our patchwork transportation system? And I know that that's not app specific as far as what they're going to do, but I am still concerned for them, obviously. But how many people approximately is this app servicing or applicable to?
So we have approximately 7,000 students who, 7,000 families who could use the app. Ms.
Okay.
Akinola, you can have a seat.
For the first student buses?
Yes.
Okay. So that's less than half of our district enrollment currently, right?
Yes.
Okay. We're not all you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mr. Watson.
Is there another route that you would like to look at, or would you like to see any additional information about the app as well?
I would leave that up to the board. Do you have any additional questions?
I just sort of have a general question. So, you know, we've previous iterations of bus tracking apps didn't have all these steps. So, how come this app is different? And is it possible to preload based on the student ID number, the route information and the timing, so you can save a lot of those steps for parents?
Yes, so that is an improvement that's coming in, in a little bit this school year. So we actually are rolling out a newer version of FirstView with more capabilities that will allow us to pull in all of the student and stop information together. That way, when parents add in their ID, they are connected to the app and connected to their route automatically for tracking. We will still have the option for customizable notifications. That was a feature that we vetted quite a bit with parents, and they do want more customization for alerts. So we would like to still incorporate that in, but that's a really great point to make. We do want to make it as easy as possible for parents. So that step where you're selecting a route or adding the route to the app, that will essentially go away.
Okay. And
Great question.
On the I guess on the driver end, on the bus end, what does the GPS look like? Is the GPS like embedded in the vehicle, or does that go with the driver? And I ask that question because in again, previous experiences, if you had a substitute driver or a substitute bus, the app, the GPS didn't go with that route. It went with the vehicle. And
So the GPS units are installed on the vehicles.
so
Sorry, go ahead.
well, so then is it possible for a driver going to, driving a route that isn't aligned with the GPS that's in that vehicle, to make that adjustment so parents are notified that, there is transportation you know, because they don't, I mean, it doesn't matter to a parent what bus or it is as long as the bus is coming on that route. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a really great question. And so the drivers can essentially sign into the vehicles that will connect them to the route that they're also assigned to at the depot. So it's something that they kind of do when they're starting their day. If there is an issue where they're not able to sign in, or maybe there's like a mid-route breakdown, there's also the possibility at the depot side, so at First Student, for them to make that change or adjustment to the vehicle or the driver as well. Those changes will come into FirstView in just a few seconds. And so the experience for parents, as long as it's not like after the route's complete, it will not necessarily interrupt their experience. They'll just be connected to the new information once it's available. And there's nothing that they need to do to get connected at that point.
Okay, so that is something that the app has the capability to do, and I guess the question is for our First Student partners is that part of the training, and is that done with fidelity that drivers are entering in the information to connect to the app if they're on a different route or in a different vehicle?
I know that's something that we were discussing, and that is what the dispatch is working on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's great to have the app when the buses are running and on time and everything. That's always great to know. It's incredibly 10 times more important when the buses aren't running on time or aren't running the same bus or the same driver. If there's changes, that's really when you need to have that information.
Correct.
Agreed.
I do want to ask a question. Looking at the route that you have presented before us in a time,
Mr. Watson.
you're saying that the California time was supposed to be at 6:18, but they didn't get there until 6:27. Oh, then she moved it. I thought I was doing good by looking at it.
That's Chippewa.
Here at stop 3.
Yes, it was 6:18, and then they arrived, but they didn't arrive until 6:27. You're saying that that particular parent would know, okay, the bus is supposed to be here at 6:18, but they're not here quite yet. They're still coming. Is that what this app shows?
Yeah, so it's going to show them the location, and it's also going to give them a notification when it's close. So if the bus has not yet entered that area that they've kind of set up in the app for that notification, then it won't trigger that alert for them quite yet. But they will, of course, also be able to track the bus right on the map and see the location of it.
And that just doesn't seem like a lot of time for one stop to the next. What time does Compton Drew actually start? And we're saying that our students arrive. Can you scroll all the way down? I'm sorry.
Yep. No, you're fine.
And they arrive at 6:50. So they 7:01 is when they get
7:01, yes.
Okay.
We have our senior vice president from First
Come on,
Student.
Mr. John. Come talk to me first.
That is the app.
Okay.
Just kidding. John Billigmeyer, Senior Vice President with First Student. I'm just here to help out Tiffany, familiar with the operation on the day-to-day, so I just wanted to, I'm listening to all this and hopefully can help field some questions as they come in. So what you did see, first off, when it comes to the app, what we did when we developed that app, we didn't make it in a bubble. We had a panel of parents from several different school districts that came in and helped us work on that app. Since then, as Tiffany alluded to and said, we are rolling out a new version of the app, which is a little less complicated when parents first sign on. As far as support, when we do roll this out to the parents, it's going to take a lot of communication on both parts. We need to have a communication plan from the district supported by First Student. We will have support for telephone. You can call in. These are folks that work for First Student. It is not an outsourced call center. We do have Spanish-speaking support as well. And then also we can put together documents to put on the website so they can have step-by-step on the website along with that phone number. So we can fully support any rollout or integration of this. Vice President, your comment or your question about how we stick all of this together. Right now, it is dispatch dependent. So when the driver comes in, our dispatcher will give them the route, and they will make sure that it's set up in the FirstView system. It's backed by a system we call Focus. Later on in the year, December or January, we will have tablets. So in order to make this work seamlessly, you have three parts. You've got a driver, you've got a vehicle, and you've got a route. Once we roll out the tablets, the driver will come in, they will pick up the tablet, they will type in their route, and now you've got two of those parts. At that point, they can walk to any bus in the lot, and they can scan in, and it's all uploaded automatically into the FirstView app. So we roll this out in steps and phases. The very first part is of course making sure that the route data is correct, and we have been working alongside alongside your team and our team together to sort these routes out and to make sure that we've got a product that the app will support. So
I will say between today and last week, Bus 6002 has made some great improvements, right? Yes.
you scared me when you wanted to bring that one up.
Okay.
Any other transportation questions?
Oh, go ahead. I wanted to highlight something if you don't mind. So there also is in the dashboard, and this is what we use for troubleshooting as well. There's what we call a route replay. So we are able to drill in a little bit just to say, okay, well, we didn't capture it in live, but did we actually capture that arrival after the fact? You know, were we able to fill in some of the data if there was like a GPS delay or some kind of issue? And so looking at this route in the replay, it filled in everything. So it looks like it actually did run pretty seamlessly as far as tracking was concerned. But of course, there are opportunities just to research on my end to see why something did not report properly. And then, of course, share that information.
So who has access to District View to know, so do principals have access to that or school secretaries?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Parents don't see this,
Right.
but the school
Nope.
districts,
This is a lot.
yeah, the individual schools do see this, and they can only look at the buses that are assigned to that
their
school.
school.
So they're not looking at the entire district. They're just looking at what's assigned to their school. And it's kind of a heat map. When the bus is on time, it's green. When the bus is running late, it's red. It doesn't tell you exactly why the bus is red, but at least if a parent's calling in, they can see that the bus is running late. We have to investigate on our side to figure out what exactly happened, why that bus is running late.
But they can see where the bus is in real time.
On the app, yes. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes, they can see where the bus is in real time. Correct.
Yep, they sure can.
So what has been some of the challenges that we're finding from the parents and the principals? What are we seeing that's the issue? I see the app, I see this is set up. I know for me the challenge was even trying to get into it first. Once I got it, okay, I get it.
Yep.
But what are we seeing becomes a hiccup for a lot of the parents, and how many users do we know are using this app? Do we know?
I don't believe.
Right now we have.
Oh.
What is the number?
I want to say
right now? Can you hear me?
600. It should be six. Yeah,
We have 654 downloads of the app, and there are 400 parents that are actively tracking in the app
Okay.
as of today.
And Ms. Tiffany, what challenges from the feedback that you're getting, what are you finding the most challenging issues that the parents are having?
I think some parents aren't quite sure what route to select in the app. They may just not be familiar with the number or that information. And so we do have a way, of course, to redirect them to the transportation website, and that does seem to work. So we're able to help them pretty quickly. And then I will say that setting up notifications, it's customizable. So there's a lot of opportunities for failure there or to get it wrong. And so we do often have to kind of work with parents if they're like, hey, I'm not getting them on time, or they don't really seem to be that useful. What we'll do is we'll do kind of an analysis of their notification, We'll look at the GPS data to see when the bus is typically arriving to their stop or to that pinpoint that they've set up, and then we'll help them fine tune that. So some of that is just utilizing our support, and that's why we're here to help them do that. But also, of course, recognizing that there are some improvements that can be made there, such as not giving them a minute by minute selection, maybe doing it like every 10 minutes. Making it customizable, but not as customizable.
And what about?
And then I also just want to say in general, I mean, parents, it's new for some of them, it's new technology. So it always is a little bit of a hurdle, that first kind of introduction to it, getting signed up and getting set up, but most parents are doing okay with tracking.
Yeah, I was going to add to that. The reason why it's a little complicated to set up is it is student specific, it is route specific.
Yeah.
There's also from a privacy standpoint, we want this data protected and we want this data only available to the people who need it. So my student is on a bus, my son is on a bus, I only see my son's bus. I don't see any other information. So yeah, it's a little complicated at first, but once you set it up and once you get it the way you want it, it's really, you get the notifications every day. It's pretty seamless, and parents are really enjoying it.
What about from the school side, like the principal or whoever is handling the app, that they have access to? Are they having any challenges?
No, the parents aren't really working with the app. The districts aren't really working with the app.
Okay.
The districts are working with the FirstView dashboard.
Okay.
So I guess this is more of a question for transportation. Oh, sorry. I guess just going back to what you had said, Ms. Ingram, about the being able to view the performance of a route and the timing. Are we taking any of that data and looking at that to adjust the projected timing of a bus? Are we looking at, okay, maybe this bus stop has 10 kids getting on, this bus stop has 1 kid, and maybe we should adjust those times for the parents? And if so, how are we notifying them, hey, your bus stop time might be changing for efficiency of the route?
That is what we are constantly doing, and that causes some frustration to parents, but that is what we are constantly doing. Noticing that this was part of our conversation on September 20th with First Student, in that the start time when the buses leave sometimes causes them to be late to the different stops. And so First Student has agreed that they will have their drivers come in earlier so that they can get to the routes in time. But even in getting to the routes on time, if they know that if they know that something is happening there, they will attempt to wait, or if they can't wait, they'll move on. But it puts them behind if they stay longer than a minute or 2 at that stop. So notifying parents has been the things that we're doing, but again, that doesn't make parents happy knowing that each time, maybe 1 or 2 times a week, that time could change. And so we're still working on how to make that picture perfect, if you will.
So are we notifying them with phone call, email, or with the app?
No, it's not. I mean, if they go into the app, they'll get the update, but we have to notify them with a new letter that your time or your bus has changed. And that will come out once a week. Yeah.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask, English, French, Spanish are great, but I'm pretty sure the second most common language at our school is not French. Do you know the next commonly spoken one after Spanish?
Say that again.
I think it's Bosnian and
Okay.
Okay.
What was the other language that you mentioned?
Bosnia and Vietnamese.
So if we're
Okay.
looking at adding languages, those would be great choices.
Absolutely. I'll definitely share that with the product manager. We were actually just doing a session reviewing what other languages we should add to the app and add to the dashboard. And so I'll definitely include those in the list because I don't believe they were included.
Okay,
Dr.
we'll
Dino,
work with
do you
Dr. Dino.
yeah, do you know
um,
the languages?
I'm so sorry, what was the question?
We can get those for you tomorrow, but Swahili, Dari, and Pashto are currently more widely spoken than Bosnian and Vietnamese here. Yeah, but we can
Okay.
get our top 5 languages for you tomorrow.
We have what, like 28 or something spoken in the district?
Yeah, if you want to send those over to me, that would be great.
Top languages. Okay, thank you. That concludes our report.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. John, for coming on up.
Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Borshade. We will go into the October consent agenda for review.
I have two software-related questions. First one is 10/08/2410, new contract with Focus School Software for enterprise resource planning for HR, payroll, and finance. Is this we finally landed on one? Is that what this is?
We did.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And how's the implementation looking, or what is the rollout going to be? Because I know this was a pain point of, this is a big, heavy transition to upgrading
This
these.
is a major transition, especially with all of the staffing changes that we've had in the district. So there's still conversation as to when the implementation may even begin. We certainly wanted to at least get it approved and look at what an implementation schedule might look like when we speak with Focus. So I'd say that there's still some uncertainty as to the timing. So I think that that will be a big discussion point.
And is Focus the same vendor for the new SIS as well?
It is.
Okay. And is there advantages to have both of them, or is it just kind of a coincidence?
Well, it is a coincidence, but there are absolutely some advantages as far as integration
So
opportunities.
Those are two big new systems where we're transitioning virtually all of our data into these two new programs.
Yes.
Okay, good luck.
I have a question. 10/08/2411, Navigate 360, to provide emergency management platform that supports visitor management site mapping. I'm trying to understand that. Now, I was up under the impression that this was a grant. Is this a grant? Isn't this a grant? And where are we actually looking to pull the funds to support this? Ms. Chief Banks like that ain't me.
Mr. Watson, Mr. Watson and Colonel Davis, we'll defer to you.
So to begin with, this is not a grant project initially. However, we are working with the Department of Justice. There were some additional funds that we're seeking to support this Navigate 360. But in essence, and this will be our visitor management tool for to enhance our safety and security within the district. But initially, it wasn't a grant, but we potentially have a good funding source through the Department of Justice to fund this particular project.
So I didn't see on board docs that this was a bid. Is that true?
So we actually went through the co-op.
Okay.
This was through the TIPS cooperative agreement.
Okay, and how was this? Was there a panel that vetted? I mean, were there other options for this type of product? Was this vetted with a group of people, or how was it selected, or was that the only option through the co-op?
There were other companies that we looked at the time. Verkada, there's another Raptor, and when we weighed our options with what can be provided to us right away, two of those companies could only give us certain things inside of the app, but Navigate 360 was able to give us everything that we needed. It's also an integration piece with what we already have with our Alice emergency operations planner. Navigate integrates right in with that. So we did go after Verkada and Raptor, and Navigate 360 checked most of the boxes.
Okay.
Any other questions regarding the October consent agenda? Seeing none. A whole lot of papers flying. Board reports.
I have a couple of reports. So last week, in regards to the ongoing policy project, which we've engaged Missouri School Boards Association with, we had a very large Zoom meeting to get an update with that. Dr. Borisade, President Cousins, and myself, with a whole lot of people from MSBA, including Ms. Tilley, Ms. Quinley, Ms. Frazier, as well as people from the policy project and the attorneys, to sort of talk about where they are on the policy project for our district, concerns that they may have, and then also specifically talking about where to prioritize implementation, and they discussed different areas regarding finance and human resources as probably being the most important in terms of looking at comparing where the policies are. And so hopefully soon they'll be giving some recommendations, and a part of the reason finance was involved because Ms. Frazier has been sort of working with the district on some of those issues from MSBA, and we've always said we were going to prioritize human resources. So I felt like it was a little step further, but I came away from that meeting that this still continues to be an overwhelming project for MSBA, and it's going to be an overwhelming project for the district. But also necessary because, first of all, they're so old, but also struggling with the statutory difference in our district and other districts is really more complicated than I think I even understood. So that is a bit of an update, and so just again, I keep giving the same update. Be prepared for those to start coming down the pike. But it was a good conversation, but it's still somewhat complicated. That's right. So the fact that we are a metropolitan school district, and not only that, but there are just some really strange, weird, old, and not productive, and also very confusing. So, I mean, they're even struggling with, well, we don't even know what this means. So it's got to mean something because it's there, and it may be reflected in our policy. And I think the other problem is that they're identified, and I think we would all agree, the fact that the policies are so old, people just ignore them. And one of the reasons why most school districts use a service is that even if you're just sort of refreshing the language, not changing the meaning of it, that forces people to go and engage with the policy. And so you have that familiarity. But we have so many that are so strangely written, and they may refer to positions where the titles have changed, and the language is just outdated, and so it becomes very confusing. So, they're very meticulous at the policy service, and this has always been a project for them. I mean, and they talk about how I guess the district has contacted them for over a decade. Hey, you want to look at this? And they start looking at it, and everybody throws over their hands and stops. So I am dedicated to seeing this through before I leave this board, and I'm starting to think that maybe that's going to be in vain, but this was at least a step forward. So we're still working on it. And if any body in the administration has policies that you think, gosh, I have been wanting to change this forever, and this is an urgent situation, please let us know, and we can contact them. I mean, another one of the issues that we have is like our district contacts for this project, since it's been kind of ongoing for a year, have changed. So, I mean, the only person who's still like really involved with them is me, and I don't work here. So, that's something as well. But it is something that's important, and as we're going through all these sort of transition things, it becomes even more important. All these audits, it's going to, they're going to flag policies like every other audit does. Your policies are old, need to be updated, and we're working on it. but it has been kind of, I don't want to say frustrating, but as hard as everybody said it was going to be. And so they're continuing to work on that. On a lighter note, I went to the Gateway Complex today to have lunch as part of the Parent Action Council's drop-in lunch, and it was delicious, and the kids loved it. It was spaghetti day. The only problem was it wasn't spaghetti on the menu. It was burritos and wraps, and they ran out of it, but I think the kids were okay with it because the spaghetti was good. So that was good. I got several hugs and a couple fist bumps. So, you know, it's always nice to go. Oh, and they're very proud of their shirts. Apparently, Literacy Night at Gateway was huge at the middle school. Dr. White was telling me all about their scores and their growth scores, and about how every student is absolutely committed to 2.5 growth. And she even said at the Literacy Night, one parent was like, oh, well, you know, you made 1.6, and he's like, I need 2.5. And so Gateway's always fun to go visit, so that was good. One final note back to the governance committee. We've tentatively scheduled a governance committee meeting for October 4th. We need to adopt two things. One, the Sunshine Law policy update that was suggested that was referred to committee. And I needed to consult with MSBA on that. And we've also changed the custodian of records, so we need to update that. And then also the vacancy, because of the change in the law that went in effect August 28th, the vacancy provision policy, we've got a draft of that, which we just need to finally review. I also have, in response to a letter from 4 prior board members that was sent to the board and then published within the hour after receiving it in the Post-Dispatch. Coincidentally, don't know how that happens. But invited those 4 board members to come to a governance committee as they expressed concern with the governance and operations that they've observed on the board. And so I'm still waiting to hear back about their schedule availability, but on behalf of the board, because they seem to be concerned with the governance, I thought that would be a good opportunity for them to come and share their concerns, which they have based on their prior experience. I'm open. I certainly want to make sure that all the other board members are included in that if you want to come, and if any other board members have any other ways that you would like to engage with those former board members, please don't. I'm not meaning to hijack it. I just thought that that was an opportunity to come to the governance committee. I'm not sure how well received that's going to be, so I just want to give that update as well. Yeah, and like I said, it's October. It'll be posted, obviously. It's October, tentatively scheduled for October. It's Friday, October 4th at 10:30. We're going to have that committee meeting for those policies, whatever. If those former board members, you know, respond that they're eligible. If they want to have another date, I've offered that invitation as well.
Are those when we have meetings, like the governance meeting, that's posted, correct?
It's always posted. I always try, for my committees, I always try to make an announcement during my board report for the upcoming meetings, so everybody on the board knows that as well. I don't generally send an invitation out to everybody, but again, they're posted, and I try to make that announcement.
So for clarity, so that all board members understand, like real estate committee meetings, governance meetings, whatever meetings, when they're posted, even though you're not on the committee, you're always welcome to attend those meetings and have a voice. Just wanted to make sure everyone understood that. Is there any other board reports? Vice President Davis, I know that Board Member Hubbard, I know you're on the retirement plan. Did you have any reports? Because I know Vice President Davis has been working on that. But is there anything going on that we should need to know about regarding that committee? I'm saying, are you part of those? Do you attend the pension meetings? Your mic is not on.
I do attend the pension meetings, From my understanding, I wasn't at the meetings that happened with the legislative committee. So that's something that we would have discussed in executive session. We haven't had a board meeting yet. So I have nothing to report. Thanks.
So, just so you all know, when we are on different committees, and we should be providing information and insight as to really what's happening. And I know, Board Member Hikes, that you're now on the LRA Commission meeting. Have you had any attendance in any of those meetings?
Yes, but the last one, the next one is October 4th, and as of right now, I don't have any information to share with the board.
Okay.
Go
Has
ahead.
there been any other additional meetings? You're on the MSBA. I know there's a conference that's coming up that we probably will be voting on for board members to be a part of the professional development for the MSBA conference in October 17th and 19th. Is there any additional information that we need to know? I know MSBA has been doing a huge task in supporting the district with all the professional development that we need, whatever support we need, from what Vice President Davis has spoke on, especially in regards to the finances, support with Chief Banks and everyone else. But is there anything else that you would like to report and add that you've been doing with MSBA at this time? You don't have to. I was just curious if there was anything.
Because I have to meet with them. We got a Zoom meeting coming up, and
Okay. Secretary Jones, I know you're a part of the real estate committee. Is there anything that you wanted to report that came out of the real estate committee? I think we do have a success story to add. A sale, we had a sale of something, didn't we? Did we sell a school? Simmons School, I think.
Yes, but I don't have all the information
So we
on it.
closed, I can proudly say, we did close on Simmons School. The board voted and approved for the sale of it. They had a contract to close, and we have officially closed. I thought you knew because you had to sign that closing document, that's what I was saying. So I just wanted to make sure we reported on that. And finally, we have a MSBA annual conference that is coming up for October the 17th through the 19th. I need a motion to approve for board members to attend the conference.
I'll move to approve the professional development request for all board members that wish to attend the MSBA annual conference October 17th through 19th at the Kansas City Convention Center.
second.
Any discussions?
Is it always in Kansas City?
Ms. Bree?
Just one question. Do we have what our PD budget is currently? I know what it used to be, but I don't know if it's increased annually for the board specifically. Does anyone have that number?
Not offhand. I'll probably get it for you.
If we could add that and like kind of the running tally with these PD requests, that way we can be mindful of spending the money in the right places, that would be helpful in the future. Thanks.
Any other discussions? Ms. Bree?
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Val?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn open session and return to closed session in accordance with Missouri Revised Statute Section 610.021, subsections 1, 2, 3, and 13 for the discussion of legal, real estate, and personnel matters.
Second. Ms. Bree?
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Val?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.